Well, hello. That's hashtag here. This one's going to be an interesting one. Roth, Challenge Roth. I had the privilege of being there. Um, I rode there. Let's just get that out straight away. The ride to Roth. Over a week, I did about 100 miles a day, thereabouts. Got down to Roth on the Thursday, and the athletes who were involved with Roth, with hashtag, and they were coming down on the Wednesday night ferry, and it was basically one of those Top Gear moments where who was going to get to the hotel first. It was me. Had a shower, had a beer, and I waited for them in the restaurant. So I win. Um, let's go to the actual event. So registration. Registration was fairly, as it always is. The bonus being in the expo this time round is there were card facilities, credit card facilities rather than cash only. And we commented on the fact that there's probably been a lot more revenue in the food courts because there's been card transactions rather than cash. So yeah, well done Roth in that respect. Registration, like I said, was pretty good, although there's always a queue. And the last thing a full distance triathlete wants to do a couple of days before an event is stand on their feet for too long. So maybe there could be slots in which you need to queue up, maybe time slots. Just like Outlaw do racking slots, maybe there should be registration slots to kind of allocate where athletes can go in, and that would minimize the queue time, perhaps. But yeah, registration okay. Swim recce, it's always a bum fight on the Friday morning to get in there. The water was a balmy 25 degrees. I jumped in with my wetsuit, and I wish I hadn't, although I'm not much good without one. But still, it was a very hot swim, and it was clear that the organisers were going to go for a non-wetsuit swim, which is something they haven't done in over 40 years, if I remember rightly. The Danube is too shallow. There's been not enough rainwater, so the canal master can't actually pump in cold water, which has traditionally been the way it's been. So yeah, it was going to be a non-wetsuit swim. But there it is. But yeah, swim recce was good. It was nice to get in the water. I haven't swam for weeks, so it was a bit of a shock to me, but yeah, it was all good. It was all good. Coming to the Saturday, the racking again was a bit of a free for all. Everybody was queuing up for one entry point into transition, where there were two entry points into transition. So that wasn't really signposted that well, but you know, everybody got in there eventually. So yeah, it was kind of chill out and get back to the hotel and wait for race day, really. The race itself, let's break it down. One of my athletes, Abby, she did the swim. She's been training in the pool on a Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock in the morning without a wetsuit. So that's put her in good stead. So having a non-wetsuit swim was always going to slow down a certain amount of people. Even the pros, I know one pro who was slowed down by even like 8 minutes. So it happens. But the swim was fairly okay. For Abby, I should imagine it's a good quarter of an hour, 20 minutes off where she wanted to be with a wetsuit, but it is what it is. Going on to the bike. The bike was pretty cool. She kept within herself by the looks of it on that first lap and powered on through to the second lap quite well. She had fairly choice comments, which I won't repeat on here, about the climb at Grendlings. Apparently it can do one or something to those effects. But, you know, it's the same for everybody. And luckily the weather wasn't in 30 degrees as it has been in previous years. It was only in the 20s, late 20s, but still, it was good. But she stopped a few times to fill up a hydration system. Went to the toilet, I think, as well. So, yes, a good bike all round. Coming on to the run. Okay, now... it's always daunting doing a marathon, especially for Abby, as she hasn't done anything over a half marathon probably in the last 4 or 5 months. due to injuries, etc. So this was always going to be an unknown from about 10 miles onwards, let's be honest. And the downside of this is because she was in the last wave at 8:15 in the morning, she did not make the cut-off at 30k. Now, so she got stopped. They put tape across the path, said that she couldn't continue. A few athletes apparently told them to do one. They took their number off and carried on running, and they still made it to the finishing area. Now, right, we're going to go on to the major point here. Felix, in his race briefing, said it needs to be safe and fair. Racing needs to be safe and fair. Now, he was obviously talking about the bike, I should imagine, and no drafting and no cutting each other up, etc., etc. But if Challenge Roth are actually going to put out the whole safe and fair thing, they need to make sure it's safe for all competitors. And those are the ones actually who don't manage to finish either. The reason I'm saying this is because in the forest at 25k, Abby went through a feed station where there were no helpers. There was just water, cups of water left on the tables and buckets of ice. I don't know why the buckets of ice were there, but there was nobody there to help. Moving on 5k, she was stopped. She was stopped by the race officials to say that she did not meet the cutoff by 2 minutes. Discretion should have been a good thing here because of the non-wetsuit swim, but typically Germans, they like to stick to the rules. Rules are rules. But yes, I'm annoyed by that because, number one, it's not safe because they're in the middle of a forest when it was pitch black. Lights were pretty much, if there were any lights, I don't think there were, but it was all turned off. And athletes who were stopped at this point had to make their own way back to the stadium and to the finishing zone to get their green bag and basically go home. There was no assistance. It was like, you've stopped, tough luck, make your own way home. So that's not safe for especially female athletes in a forest, dark forest, thousands of miles away from home. So what's safe about that? What is safe about that? So Challenge Roth, you need to sort that out. I'm going to do a proper chest poke at that point. That's not safe. Fair? No, because our athlete particularly was in the last wave at 8:15 in the morning. So therefore, she had nearly 2 hours, well, an hour and 3/4 to actually finish 12k and got stopped. Okay, because if she's within that 15-hour cut-off. I have just looked onto the results, and there are plenty of athletes who started an hour earlier in their waves, and because they went past that cut-off, that point on the 30k point, they were allowed through. And the cut-off is 15 hours in the stadium. And I've just had a quick look at the results, just a random look at the results, and there are quite a few athletes who are 15 hours plus. And that's only because they possibly lied in their entry to get an earlier swim start. Okay, so I find that completely unfair. And again, I'll say it again, non-wetsuit should have been discretion, okay, and they should have let the athletes through. So they're not applying the rules fairly. So Felix, is it safe? No. Is it fair? Definitely not. Okay. Now, all this aside, it is what it is, and I'm sure that Abby will come back to it next year. Loads of positives: the non-wetsuit, the bike, the nutrition, the pacing, the run, all the little technical stuff that she picked up in this 13 and a bit hours of endurance. She will take forwards, and I have no doubt that she'll actually be on the start line next year. No doubt whatsoever. Next day, we did the beer mile. Well, we didn't do the beer mile. We just stopped, and I was official rubbish bag holder for the beer mile, organised by Joe Skip. People can't say I know Joe Skip. People kind of think he's just a pro. Of course, you know him, and I'm like, yeah, well, I do because he's from my hometown. and I used to race with him. I used to ride with him all the time. Anyway, so yeah, did that. That was good fun. I cannot believe that Joe actually got in his car with his dad and had 8 hours to get from Roth all the way back to the ferry at Hook of Holland for 9 o'clock. I cannot believe that they actually made it, to be honest. I don't know if they did. Did you, Joe? I have no idea. And one thing with a comment that was made by Ray Skip at the beer mile was, I'm trying not to be too serious on these videos. So I'm trying to smile, right? I am trying to smile. I am trying to make light of things. But there you go. Trying to be serious and trying to be funny as well. Anyway, so next year, Abby's going to be on the start line. Come Monday, she's going to be at the registration, or she's going to be online trying to register for next year, of course. I might be there. I did it as a relay in 2023 with my wife, the swim and the bike. I might just do the bike this time. Ben, who did it last year in 2024 as a full, he's put his hat in the ring for a part of that relay squad. And we might have Graham, actually, one of our good friends who did it last year with his wife, Jenny. Jenny's doing the solo next year. Got real bad FOMO from watching the race this year, so I think she's coming back for next year. And Graham's offered to actually do a relay as well. So I think Susie, my wife, actually is thinking about it, but she just needs to, as she said in her own words, needs to get her mojo back to race. So yeah. So we might be there. Well, we probably will be there. Let's be honest. We will be there. Hashtag will be there. I'm also going to put the invite out to all you hashtag people. If you want to come to Roth as well and soak it all up, maybe in preparation for, if you want to do it next year, 2026, got to be on your computers on Monday at 9 o'clock. If not, 2027, but maybe come next year and soak in the atmosphere, because over 300,000 people are actually on the roads to support. And that's my first time not on a bike. That's my first time on Soleraberg, and I absolutely loved it. I went way over the top. I had a super high, as my wife would say, and then I had a super crash. I completely had a sugar crash, and I was cheering so many people on, and it was nice to actually get a smile on their faces, even if it's for that 30 seconds. There's me with my cowbell. Here it is. Here's my cowbell, cheering everybody on. And me and Ben were flitting around trying to egg people on and encourage people on the run course, because that canal course isn't very imaginative, and you can imagine that 15 miles of that is quite hard work. Anyway, been waffling on way too much. Yeah, that's it. Roth. Any questions, any comments regarding this, contact us directly. If you want to come to Roth next year, contact us directly, whether that's racing or whether that's just supporting. We will be there. We hope you'll be there. So, ciao, ciao. Let's crack on.